and especially when it comes to hunting, we have absolutely no jurisdiction on that unless it is occurring on like DNR forest lands. And even then, I think all our law enforcement officers still defer to Fish and Wildlife game wardens for enforcement of that. Um, so in this instance, at least as far as the hunters go, we have absolutely no jurisdiction over that at all. So there's unfortunately nothing that we can do on that end. I honestly, I'm kind of shocked that Fish and Wildlife isn't going out and enforcing anything. But once again, I'm not familiar with all the rules that govern that either. But they would be the ones that I would. If you called me first, that's exactly who I would tell you to talk to. So the only other thing I could think of is possibly the sheriff's office. If it's a nuisance or a danger to the residents, which it sounds like it might be in some instances. And then as far as the refuge itself, we do not manage that. That's U.S. Fish and Wildlife on behalf of the spotted frog. And to my knowledge, I don't know if they conduct any enforcement activities, or if they do, it's very limited. But you might be able to reach out to them.
Yeah, I have.
Office. But those
100%.
are honestly the only three folks I could even think of to point you in the direction of, and it sounds like you've reached out to all of them.
Yeah. Yes, I have. In fact, what's disturbing about Fish and Wildlife is they charged me and my boyfriend for obstructing the taking of wildlife for jet skiing while hunters were hunting. And
really?
Yes, we currently have. So instead of them charging the hunters, when we told them that this was a baited area on the 23rd, on January 4th, we went out to jet ski. I jet ski around because I race jet skis. And when the lake becomes less busy, that's when I set out my buoys. And me and my friends, we ride around the buoys. And then I take them back in. But the Fish and Wildlife has actually charged me instead of, so they've become somewhat retaliatory towards me. I cannot trust them. They do not want a no shooting zone here. This is one of the last places or that's what I hear. I don't know anything about hunting or where they hunt. But apparently this is like one of their last lakes to hunt on, Thurston County. And when you look up the maps of the no shooting zones, almost every other lake has a no shooting zone on it, except for this lake. And it's outdated and absurd. And I am working with the commissioner's office, but that avenue is going to take too long. Sure. And the slaughter of these ducks is going to happen soon. So I'm trying to see if there's like any kind of like an emergency order or something that we can place right now, just to kind of put a moratorium on it for this time. But they are trespassing on the land itself. I have video of the blinds. They set a permanent blind and then left it there. It was with PVC pipe like stuck into branches, and then it was a mossy oak covering that had fringe on it, and they just left it there. I tore it down because that is garbage left on our lake. But they're also putting out tires with like styrofoam, but they're not like spray foaming the tires on the inside. They're just sticking chunks of styrofoam in it. And then all along the shoreline there at the south end of the lake is just beer cans and little tiny pieces of styrofoam. And I believe they're leaving their tires there to keep their boat from moving, while they trample on the shoreline. I mean, the paths leading through the 512 feet that is Black Lake River Refuge have been there for a long time. I mean, there's nothing even growing there anymore. People have walked on it so much.
You know, the only other thing I can think of now that you've kind of mentioned this is potentially. Are you guys just individual residents, or are you part of an HOA?
We're part of an HOA here, and the HOA does support me keeping the trespassers off of our shores and stopping people from hunting off of our shores. And they allowed me to put the baited sign there, even though they don't encourage the feeding of the ducks. They can't really stop me from feeding them. So we did. not be on the shoreline at all because they're supposed to be in a boat.
And in that instance, if they're actually on private property, then that would most definitely be the sheriff's department.
I did that though. I called the sheriff's department for the trespassing on December 23rd, and they came out. Guess what? They called Fish and Wildlife, and Fish and Wildlife told the police that those hunters had every right to be there and to hunt and to inform can't go out. Mama's got to set up her thing. I got to log in.